Melachim Aleph, or 1 Kings chapter 15, verse 25. And Nadab, son of Jeroboam, became sovereign over Israel in the 2nd year of Asa, sovereign of Yehudah. And he reigned over Israel 2 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yehovah, and walked in the way of his father, and in his sin, by which he had made Israel sin. Then Baasha, son of Ahiah, of the house of Issachar, conspired against him. And Baasha struck him at Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines. For Nadab and all Israel had laid siege to Gibbethon. And Baasha killed him in the 3rd year of Asa, sovereign of Yehudah, and reigned in his place. And it came to be, when he became sovereign, that he struck all the house of Jeroboam. He did not leave to Jeroboam anyone breathing until he had destroyed him according to the word of Yehovah, which he had spoken by his servant Ahiah the Shilonite, because of the sins of Jeroboam which he had sinned, and by which he had made Israel sin, because of his provocation with which he had provoked Yehovah, Elohim of Israel. And the rest of the acts of Nadab and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel? And there was fighting between Asa and Baasha, sovereign of Israel, all their days, in the 3rd year of Asa, sovereign of Yehudah. Baasha, son of Ahiah, became sovereign over all Israel in Tirzah, and reigned 24 years. He did evil in the eyes of Yehovah, and walked in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin, by which he had made Israel sin. Chapter 16. Then the word of Yehovah came to Jehu, son of Hanani, against Baasha, saying, because I raised you up out of the dust and made you ruler over my people Israel, but you walked in the way of Jeroboam, and made my people Israel sin, to provoke me with their sins. See, I'm going to sweep away Baasha and his house, and shall make your house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. Anyone belonging to Baasha who dies in a city the dogs eat, and anyone belonging to him who dies in a field the birds of the heavens eat. And the rest of the acts of Baasha and what he did and his might, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel? So Baasha slept with his fathers and was buried in Tirzah. And his son, Elah, reigned in his place. Moreover, the word of Yehovah came by the prophet Jehu, son of Hanani, against Baasha and his house, because of all the evil that he did in the eyes of Yehovah, in provoking him with the work of his hands, in being like the house of Jeroboam, and because he struck them. In the 26th year of Asa, sovereign of Yehudah, Elah, son of Baasha, began to reign over Israel in Tirzah 2 years. And his servant Zimri, commander of half his chariots, conspired against him as he was in Tirzah, drinking himself drunk in the house of Artsah, who was over his house in Tirzah. Then Zimri came in and struck him and killed him in the 27th year of Asa, sovereign of Yehudah, and reigned in his place. And it came to be, when he began to reign, as soon as he was seated on the throne, that he struck all the household of Baasha. He did not leave him one male neither of his redeemers nor of his friends. So Zimri destroyed the entire house of Baasha according to the word of Yehovah, which he spoke against Baasha by Yahu the prophet. For all the sins of Baasha and the sins of Elah his son, by which they had sinned and by which they had made Israel sin, in provoking Yehovah, Elohim of Israel, with their worthlessness, the rest of the acts of Allah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel? In the 27th year of Asa, sovereign of Yehuda, Zimri reigned 7 days in Tirzah, and the people were encamped against Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines. And the people who were encamped heard it and said, Zimri has conspired and also struck the sovereign. So all Israel set up Omri, the commander of the army, to reign over Israel that day in the camp. And Omri went up, and all Israel with him, from Gibbethon. And they besieged Tirzah. And it came to be when Zimri saw that the city was captured that he went into a high place of the sovereign's house and burned the sovereign's house down upon himself with fire and died, because of the sins which he had sinned in doing evil in the eyes of Yehovah, in walking in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin which he had committed to make Israel sin. And the rest of the acts of Zimri and the conspiracy he made, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel? Then the people of Israel were divided into 2 parts. Half of the people followed Tibni, son of Ganath, to make him reign, and half followed Omri. But the people who followed Omri were stronger than the people who followed Tibni, son of Ganath. And Tibni died and Omri reigned. In the 31st year of Asa, sovereign of Yehuda, Omri became sovereign over Israel and reigned 12 years. He reigned 6 years in Tirzah. And he bought the hill of Shomeron from Shamir for 2 talents of silver, and built on the hill and called the name of the city which he built Shomeron, after the name of Shemer, owner of the hill. And Omri did evil in the eyes of Yehovah, and did evil more than all those before him, and walked in the ways of Jeroboam son of Nebat, and in his sin by which he had made Israel sin, provoking Yehovah of Israel with their worthlessnesses. And the rest of the acts of Omri which he did, and the might that he attained, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel? So Omri slept with his fathers and was buried in Shomeron, and Ahab, his son, reigned in his place. In the 38th year of Asa, sovereign of Yehuda, Ahab, son of Omri, became sovereign over Israel. And Ahab, son of Omri, reigned over Israel in Shomeron 22 years. And Ahab, son of Omri, did evil in the eyes of Yehovah more than all those before him. And it came to be as though it had been a light matter for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, that he took as wife Isabel, the daughter of Ethbaal, sovereign of the Sidonians. And he went and served Baal and bowed himself to it, and raised up a slaughter place for Baal in the house of Baal, which he had built in Shomeron. And Ahab made an Asherah. And Ahab did more to provoke Yehovah Elohim of Israel than all the sovereigns of Israel before him. In his days, Heel of Bethel built Jericho. He laid its foundations at the cost of Abiram, his firstborn, and at the cost of his youngest son, Segub. He set up its gates, according to the word of Yehovah which he had spoken through Yehoshua, son of Nun. 2 Chronicles 17. And Jehoshaphat his son reigned in his place, and strengthened himself against Israel, and placed an army in all the walled cities of Yehudah, and set up watch posts in the land of Yehudah, and in the cities of Ephraim, which Asa his father had taken. And Yehovah was with Jehoshaphat, for he walked in the former ways of his father David, and did not seek the Baals, but sought the Elohim of his father, and walked in his commands, and not according to the deeds of Israel. So Yehovah established the reign in his hand, and all Yehudah gave presents to Jehoshaphat, and he had great riches and esteem. And his heart was exalted in the ways of Yehovah, and he again removed the high places and the Asherim from Yehudah. And in the 3rd year of his reign, he sent his leaders, Ben-Hail, and Obadiah, and Zechariah, and Nethanel, and Micaiah, to teach in the cities of Yehudah. And with them he sent Levites, Shemayahu, and Nethanyahu, and Zebadiah, and Asael, and Shemaramoth, and Yehonathan, and Adoniyahu, and Tobiyahu, and Tobadaniyahu, the Levites, and with them Elishama, and Yehoram the priests. And they taught in Yehudah, and with them was the book of the Torah of Yehovah. And they went around into all the cities of Yehudah and taught the people. And the fear of Yehovah fell on all the reigns of the land that were around Yehudah, and they did not fight against Jehoshaphat. And some of the Philistines brought Jehoshaphat gifts and a load of silver. And the Arabians brought him flocks, 7,700 rams, and 7,700 male goats. And Jehoshaphat became increasingly great, and he built palaces and storage cities in Yehudah. And he had much work in the cities of Yehudah, and the men of battle, mighty brave men, were in Jerusalem. And these were the numbers according to their fathers' houses. Of Yehudah, the commander of thousands, Adnah, the commander, and with him 300,000 mighty brave men. And next to him was Johanan, the commander, and with him 280,000. And next to him was Amasya, son of Zikri, who volunteered himself to Yehovah, and with him 200,000 mighty brave men. And of Benjamin, Eliada, a mighty brave one, and with him 200,000 men armed with bow and shield. And next to him was Jehozabad, and with him 180,000 prepared for battle. These were the ones serving the sovereign, besides those whom the sovereign put in the walled cities throughout all Yehudah.